Nerds.
Nerds?
Nerds. Nerds!
What is a nerd?
Nerds.
Nerds?
Nerds. Nerds!
What is a nerd?
Hey kids, you're listening to the Radioactive Nerd. And now, on with the show! Look at me! I'm dancing! Yeah!
Tell us a little bit about Shadowland. What can you tell me about Shadowland? And this is the film, right?
This is the film, yes. Shadowland's an indie vampire film that was shot in St. Louis, entirely in St. Louis with an entire St. Louis cast. It was shot about 2 years ago, and will be out on DVD pretty much anywhere at the end of November. It doesn't follow the typical vampire route. It's not the romance teen kind of thing, but it's not like the full-on full monster vampire. It's much more of a thriller, much more of an adult-focused romance.
Okay.
So,
what was the inspiration for that? Where did you come up with that?
That one wasn't actually me. I was just cast in that one.
Okay.
From what I understand, the director came up with the idea by seeing a hole in the ground, and thought it would be really cool for a vampire to crawl out of a hole. And so that's kind of where the thing started.
I gotcha. Awesome. Now, what else in the Shadowland project? What else did you do? Now you said that you were.
Yeah, I was in it. I play Julie, who is the vampire hunter.
So you play the vampire hunter.
I'm the vampire hunter.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it was very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little different though. In this one, the vampire is Caitlin McIntosh. She plays Laura. She's turned to a vampire in the 1800s and killed. And in modern day, she is accidentally brought back with no memory of who she is, or what she is even.
I gotcha.
But we know, and so the church has sent my character out to hunt her down. So in a sense, even though I'm the vampire hunter, I'm kind of the antagonist in the film. So it's a little different.
Gotcha. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about Shadowland, or when will people be able to see it?
It will be available November 30th.
November 30th.
They're working out deals with Walmart and Target and Blockbuster and Best Buy and Redbox, Netflix. I mean, you'll be able to get it everywhere.
Nice.
It'll be available.
Now, I'll tell you what, we'll have to have, once it gets released, we'll have to have you back on and have you talk about
Absolutely.
it. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the comic book. Tell us a little bit about the comic book that you guys are here showing off.
Well, the comic book was something that started about 2 years ago. It's called Legacy's End. And Nick and I have been friends for about 10 years. And I wanted to put something together. He's been wanting to put something together. We've had all these characters that we created when we were kids.
So you guys have known each other since you were like kids, then?
It's been a long time, yeah.
Long time. It's more like family than friends, really.
Absolutely, I hear you.
Pretty much. Either that or a really bad heterosexual marriage.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been complaining about wanting to write a comic book forever. He's been complaining about wanting to draw a comic book or thing. Why don't we just do it? Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we got my brother Nathan Contini in, and the three of us just kind of started brainstorming, and we live all over the country from each other now. So we started having these three-way phone calls, and we just started to build the concept.
So, did you already have kind of an idea of the characters and the direction that you wanted to take the comic book and the story and everything else, or?
We did, yeah. We kind of came up with a rough idea for the story, and it was very rough at the time, and we already had all the characters in place. And Nick and I really kind of focused on trying to get the plot lines together. At that point, that's when I handed it over to him, and he started actually scripting it. So,
Funny thing was that after we knew exactly what we wanted to focus on, what type of story we really wanted to tell, it wrote itself.
yeah, it really did.
It's so surprising. It wrote itself.
Yeah, the question for me is, now, did you, like, visually, okay, this is what's going to happen. Did you sit out and write a whole, like, outline of what was going to happen? Or
Before I started writing, I had it in my head about what could happen, what I wanted to see. And as I started writing it out, things changed.
things change,
And
right?
you know, it was like a movie playing in my head. I'm like,
Right.
well, wait a minute, this looks better. Okay, whoa, slow down.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, from the time that we decided we wanted to do it to the time that right now, you know, 2 months away from releasing the first issue, it's almost completely changed, except for the concept. The main heart of the story has never changed.
Now,
And the ending. And we do have
And the
a
ending.
definite ending for the story in
Wow.
sight. It'll be 3 miniseries. I don't know how long they'll be. It just depends on what the story
what
needs. So.
what can you kind of tell us about the storyline and the characters and just some of the main characters involved?
Basically, it's we're both huge comic book fans, movie fans, so it's a mixture of both. A lot of epic themes, a lot of characterization. Basically, it's in a world very similar to ours, you know, modern day, where corporations are pretty much running the show. Superheroes aren't really super anymore, they're mascots. They're
Licensed out,
corporations
you know.
and
Really?
governments and things like that. And things are going in such a horrible direction. The classic heroes from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the ones
now
that were
retired.
heroes,
Right.
decide it's time to come out of retirement. We got to do something, and it's a little bit drastic to where they take the role of almost terrorists to the government's eyes, trying to change the way things are, and it just goes from there. It gets wild. It's crazy. It's heavy drama. Real. We got some comedy, of course. Can't leave out the comedy.
Right.
But it's literally anybody who's ever enjoyed a comic book, a movie, or anything in between. There's something there for everyone.
Awesome. Like, man, you guys are really creative. I mean, everything
Thank you.
from acting and doing the stuff in the films and writing also, and then, you know, doing everything. Now, who's actually doing the actual artwork for the...
My brother Nathan and I actually
brother.
split the art. We have 2 storylines that are running simultaneously throughout the story. And at first, it will sort of seem like they're 2 separate storylines. They will converge by the end.
Okay.
So my brother will be handling the art for one story. I will be handling the art
Wow.
for the other.
So you get the two different...
2 totally different tones.
2 totally different tones.
And
That's cool.
and by the time they converge, we will start converging the art. We
The
will both
artwork.
start working on the same
That
panel.
is awesome.
And the art is very, very different. Mine is much more of a detailed
Right, I got you.
work, whereas my brother's, you know,
Oh, wow.
he really takes a lot of inspiration from the old '80s
Right, yeah.
cartoon shows.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
awesome.
thank you.
Very
We'll be happy
awesome.
to hear that. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
I tell you what, maybe we can have you guys like autograph a copy. We can give it away to one of our listeners or
Sure,
something.
yeah, absolutely.
Something like that, and do
More
something
than
like
happy.
that. And you guys, you know, even later on the show, like I said, when the movie gets closer to launching, and if you guys get further along in the story, come back on the show, and we'll let the listeners know about it.
Will do.
Thanks
Great.
so much for coming on the
Thank
show,
you.
guys. Very,
Thank you
very,
very
very nice to meet both.
You too.
You've been listening to the Radioactive Nerd. Tune in next week for more nerdy goodness. Goodbye.